You know what time it is now, the noon whistle. I'm Chris Trottier. This is my partner, John Anzalone, and we get to welcome the executive director of the Walworth County Economic Development Alliance, WCEDA. Derek, thanks for joining us.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, always good to talk to you, Derek. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Hey, I wanted to bring up a couple weeks ago, you had the WCEDA annual meeting, and we were lucky enough to be able to attend. And I appreciated the conversations in the room and the speaker regarding 5 generations in the workplace. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's just such a topic that's of such importance, and we hear it all the time. And so we wanted to touch on. It's hard to really cover too much ground in a short period, but she's a great trainer and really good at engaging people. So we're excited to have her there, and we will have a video recap of that going out in our newsletter soon. So if anybody wasn't able to do that and they want to do that, we can make sure we get that link to you.
Which is great. I think anybody that gets a chance to listen to that, it was great information on all the generations and how we've crossed each other and all in the workplace and really understanding people. So thank you. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but you know what? We already have someone in the chat that wants to know what is the current direction of WCEDA? What's WCEDA's priorities in the county as we move forward? It was Jamie from Elkhorn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, well, so in terms of like development, we've always shouldn't say always, but in general, economic development, they tend to focus on a lot of industrial development. And we've recognized that we have 4 driver industries in our county, manufacturing being one, hospitality and tourism being another, construction and healthcare. And those are industries that, drive a lot of our other businesses feed off of those. What we like about those as well is that you don't necessarily need a degree to get into those. And so those are areas where we can work with a lot of our students throughout the county. But those are areas that we focus on. Now we have other priorities that are causing some barriers, to growth in those areas. We had an event this summer, the State of the County. We do that every year. We did that up in Whitewater in June this year, and had a labor economist talking about the 4 barriers to workforce. And workforce has just always been a huge issue, but it's increasingly more challenging for our businesses and really the key to growth for our businesses. But the 4 barriers that he mentioned were broadband, transportation, housing, and childcare. And so there's 2 of those that we've started focusing on this year, and we'll continue into the new year. One is childcare, and the other is housing. And so hopefully that gives you a little bit of a recap on some of the direction of it.
Yeah. Hey, Derek, we at the Elkhorn Area School District have conversations about housing through the lens of resident enrollment. So students who, live in our district and attend our district. What are some of the, I actually, you're a part of the Walworth County Community Health Improvement Plan. We've been there. Any strategies, that are out there with regards to housing you wanted to mention? Of course, besides the Elkhorn Youth Build, which, has built a house in Whitewater through a federal grant. But what are some strategies out there that have been discussed? Maybe not solidified, but at least discussed.
Yeah, Chris, I think it's going to have to be a multi-pronged approach. And so wherever we can get some traction, I think that Youth Build is really an exciting program. And even though, it would be, onesie, twosie type things, I think just it could really help to get the visibility out there of the problem and, bring in some youth into the picture and help get more people into construction in general. But it's going to be a lot of different things, but it's probably going to hinge on zoning, Chris. A lot of it's going to hinge on zoning. And so we're going to have to work with our various municipalities and really try to talk about zoning and how that can be useful and where they might be more comfortable in certain parts of their municipalities, for zoning. And so one of the strategies that we're going to probably utilize is going to be some type of a housing summit that, our agency with WCEDA will probably co-lead with a lot of other organizations within the county to just kind of bring out some of the challenges, some of the things that have been done in other communities. But, other things to look at will be, can we build housing more reasonably? Is there dormitory housing? Are there different camps or, different buildings that aren't being utilized that could be, repurposed for housing and those kinds of things? So I think we're going to look across, a lot of different areas to see, and it's really, we talk about affordable housing or workforce housing, but I think it's really housing across the whole spectrum, increasing different amounts of housing. And so how do we get some of the developers interested? What are some of the potential incentives that we could use, that some of the municipalities, and just trying to educate people on that. So hopefully that gives you a little idea.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I mean, before John poses the next question, I wanted to say, give another plug for the State of the County meeting that you guys organized. It was just super informative around those barriers. But I happened to attend the session on childcare and the housing, and some of the quote unquote experts you brought in really gave a pretty insightful perspective on some of the challenges that exist and how it's impacting some of those drivers. So I really appreciate that. So if anybody has a chance to attend either of the WCEDA events that we discussed here today, I would strongly encourage that. John,
Yeah.
you were, I could see you had something that you wanted to propose.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And again, we did, I think we did videotape all of those sessions too. So, we can make sure
perfect.
those are available.
That's good.
I can get the links to you if you want to post those as well. But
Love it. Love it.
But yeah, just big issues that we're trying to tackle. And, I guess one thing I would just say about housing and childcare is that, we don't think we're going to solve the whole problem. I mean, it's such a major problem, but if through our concerted collaborative efforts with, a lot of different entities and agencies within the county, if we can even impact that for the better in a, let's just say 10% improvement, it'll be dramatic. And I think that's realistic with everybody, trying to work together. So,
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks, Derek. Yeah, always. Yeah, so informative. And I think two questions. One from Scott from the Elkhorn Delavan area is, how can WCEDA help businesses? Like if I'm moving into a new business or a startup or things like that, and can WCEDA help?
Yeah, I think in most cases we can, because there are always so many different resources that are available. And I think a lot of times, businesses just aren't aware of those. And so we have a list of at least 20 partners that we work with on a regular basis. That could be state agencies, regional agencies, federal agencies, and just, lots of different partnerships and collaborative agreements with other entities that may have some resources. So, everybody asks about grants. Well, there's not necessarily a lot of grant money just sitting out there that's, doesn't have a lot of red tape and strings attached, but we definitely can help, look at that. But sometimes it's planning. You may need some help with planning resources. Sometimes you have most of the funding, but you don't have all of it, so we can help with gap. Sometimes it's a zoning issue, and so we can work with the communities to kind of help you get through that process, so that it's maybe painless, or at least you know what you're getting involved with. Just matching you up with construction partners sometimes, that can help you, or real estate partners to help you find sites that you're looking at. So it just really depends. I like to just sit down with a company, kind of find out what they're trying to do, where they're at, where their challenges are. And then in many cases, I'll have some resources I can connect them to. And then those resources also have other, resources. So it really, it pays to talk with me, really, if you're looking at doing an expansion, because chances are we'll be able to help in some way.
Yeah.
Well, Derek, I know you're, obviously a resource and support and problem solver. And, you started off talking about the barriers, and there's a lot of, I know WCEDA is attempting to be a barrier remover or problem solver, right? I mean, it's the Herculean challenges. I guess tell us a little bit, from the space John and I live in right now. Besides all of that, share with the viewers and kind of tell a little bit about how you're involving K-12 public education throughout the county, all the high schools and school districts. What are some celebrations or strategies you're using that you just want to inform everybody on how you're also connecting the dots with public education and feeding that pipeline?
Yeah, well, that's it's really an important issue, because my staff and I, we try to meet with as many businesses as we can across the county. And so many of them, when you get there, especially if it's a shop, you look, and a lot of gray hair there, and nothing against gray hair, but you've got people that
easy, Derek.
Well,
easy.
hey, at least I got it right.
Yeah, right. That's true. But
This was going really good till that point. Thank you.
Nothing against that, but they could be retiring in the next 10 to 15 years, and so the problem is, how do we engage and get more youth involved, in some of these, especially the four industries that I mentioned earlier there. And so obviously one way to do that is to get with the kids in school. And so, we've been working, and thank you, Chris. I see you have our Inspire in the back there.
Lisa Pavette made me ask that question.
Okay, yeah. So, about at least 5 years ago or so, we worked with our region here. We have a 7-county region that we're a part of. They call the Milwaukee 7, and tried to roll this program out. It's a nationwide program called Inspire, and that just works directly with the essentially with the school districts, trying to match up kids with local businesses and career opportunities. And so that's kind of evolved to a point where we don't necessarily use that application. It was a web-based application, but we still work with doing trying to connect kids with local businesses. And as you both know, Elkhorn School District has been a leader in doing that these past 5 years. And so it's been really, really great to work with the schools and the counselors in that to get these kids interested in understanding all the local opportunities for careers. I say this all the time, but we'll go into the classrooms, and you'll ask the kids, what do they want to be? And typically it's you'll hear kind of top 3 things would be professional athlete, professional YouTuber or influencer, or a video game programmer. And so those are all great things, but likelihood of being really successful in those is really low. And then when you ask what's your backup plan, they really don't know.
Sure.
Because partly they just don't know what's out there. And so I think it's been really important, and school districts have been awesome to work with. It's really exciting to see over the past 5 years how many more engagements are happening through youth apprenticeships, through just general work experiences, internships, jobs, shadows, manufacturing tours and other tours and things like that. And so we've evolved a little bit since the schools have really picked up, doing a lot of that, where we're trying to help them now, just get more connections, because we have probably a wider net across the county, with businesses. And so really just trying to engage and focus on work experiences, which hopefully will lead to a number of the kids going right into, working right out of high school into the local workforce,
Yep.
which is really what we need. Because one of the things that really worries me is when you look at population trends for the county, it's very flat in the working age from about 17 to 55. And the other thing is that we have a lot of people, probably 20,000-ish, that commute out of the county every day for work. And so what can we do, to keep those people, keep the young people here, working here, and understanding all the businesses that we have, so that then the businesses can continue to grow, and really helps the economy, helps preserve the quality of life, and keeps us moving forward. So
Perfect.
Chris, can you see that question that came in?
I just posted it on the screen, Mr.
Oh,
Ansel.
nice.
Another feature I just learned about, thanks to
Excellent.
StreamYard. So real quick, Derek, you get 1 minute. This is the this is the speed ball. This is the fastball. Scott Carr coming to us from Brookfield, also connected with CISA 7. Shout out to Scott and his team for all their training.
Little background
I'll be
on
having
Scott
lunch
Carr,
with Scott
Chris.
tomorrow. So
Chris, little background on Scott Carr, Palmyra native, Palmyra Eagle graduate.
Woo! All right,
Good
I like
athlete.
it. I like it. So Scott asked Derek, are you seeing businesses lessening their higher ed requirements to meet the needs of their employer needs? So basically training within their business to get the adults earlier. Great question, Scott.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're seeing, businesses, they'll obviously they need a high school diploma, but even if they didn't have that, I'm sure they would help them get a GED or whatever. But yeah, they'd love them to come to work right away. They can train them there, and then if they need an associate's degree or bachelor's or whatever, most of the companies are willing to help with that. One of the things that I really like with Gateway Technical College is that they stack. So they have all these different certificates that you can do, and which are, maybe 1 or 2 class type things that, or 3 classes that would get you a certificate in a certain area. There could be welding, or it could be reading blueprints. There's so many different things in healthcare across the board there. But then what's nice about it is you can, in a lot of cases, use those and stack those toward an associate's degree. And then if you want to continue to advance in your career, you may end up going to UW-Whitewater and finishing a bachelor's degree. And I know that UW-Whitewater, same thing, is they're exploring how do we stack and use different credentials to get people to that. So I think you'll see more of that trend. And it's really exciting to see the K-12 working with the technical, working with the 4 years.
Becoming pretty seamless, isn't it?
It really is.
And I see WCEDA as that kind of hinge point. It keeps it's kind of the connective tissue of all of it. All right. Well, Derek, we appreciate everything.
Yeah.
But before we hit the noon whistle, John, any thanks you want to? Any quick thank yous you want to give?
Yeah, kind of spinning off of what Derek was saying. Super thankful for the partnership, Derek, that WCEDA and Elkhorn Area School District have. And there are a lot of kids coming out and going into the work world, and really the awareness of just realizing that. So thank you and all the work that you do.
Well, we're thankful for you. You guys have been awesome. A lot of the school districts, but I know you jumped on early, and really just haven't, let off the gas. So we appreciate that.
Thanks for being our first guest.
Yeah, thank you. And hey, by the way, John, I want to thank Chris Clapper from the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh,
should we have her on?
Hey, she's coming up, isn't she? She
is. Take a look at the banner below. We'll see her next Tuesday, and every Tuesday at noon. Pull over, have a sandwich, listen to us. We're gonna have some great guests coming up. We got Chris Clapper scheduled the week after that. Sam Stebnitz from Stebnitz Builders. Who else do we got, John, that you finalized last?
Kate Bishop, Director of Human Resources for Walworth County, is coming up, and she'll be interesting as well.
All right, looking forward to having it. And on that note, there's the noon whistle. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day. And please, these videos are available on the ELKWORKS YouTube page, and we'll be pushing them out soon. Take care, everybody. Thanks, Derek.
Thank you.
Yep.